crossed a bad line, so let's not waste time. Got to move and find what's on the other side. Bad line.
So be
I had a dream to be dripping off VVS diamonds. Now I'm flexing on Malcolm and I'm shining. 500K on the wrist, 60K in my mouth. I brush with Windex, gang.
I'm trying to see what that thing looked like from the back. Quit playing with a player.
No way! That's him! You have got to be kidding me! Martin Luther King Jr. just walked back into a wrestling ring. Wait, the roof's about to fly. 8 years away.
You want to know the truth? I ain't got no dreams no more. I am the dream.
What did you just say that? The crowd is turning on him.
This is unbelievable.
I has a dream that one day they're going to free all my homies out that jail cell on phony.
I had a dream that we are not judged by the color of our skin, but by the clarity of our diamond. And shine! We made it, fam.
You still need to pay for those.
I have a dream that one day these will be free of charge. Today is that day.
Wait.
Yeah, the sky ain't here full of stars, but I keep the dream on my neck. You see it? Ice heavy, heart steady, got the vision in the paper, both in hand. People thought freedom was free. Now we pay for it, we grind for it, we shine for it.
Or you still have to pay for the slushy.
My sister, I have a dream that one day this slushy will be free for all who thirst.
Sir, hey, sir, this isn't about dreams. It's about paying for your slushy.
Let us roll down this mountain of fear.
Oh, he's flying clean!
I have been to the mountain top and the landing is smooth.
That's a 67!
I have a dream that nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now you can save 50 pounds per person. That's 200 pounds off for a family of 4.
You make me sick. You think these people care about you? You are nothing without me. You want a dream? On Sunday you'll have one, because I'll be putting you to sleep.
I have a dream that one day that ceiling device in my house would stop making those fucking beeping noises. My brothers and sisters, I no longer have a dream, I have a nightmare. We're all gonna die. Ah! Run for your lives! I have
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I too have a dream. I have a dream that one day in America, fat, black, big mouth protesting bitches will go to jail for their crimes against God and man.
Just new this morning, we've learned that there's been an arrest. This is over that protest at the church in St. Paul from last Sunday.
Protesters disrupted the service at City's Church over Pastor David Easterwood's role as acting director of ICE field office in St. Paul. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced this morning that she directed agents to arrest Nekima Levy Armstrong. Bondi says Levy Armstrong allegedly played a key role in organizing what she called the attack on City's Church. Bondi said, quote, "We do not tolerate attacks on places of worship," and said there will be more updates.
New details in the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis.
Paul Morrow is here, and he's a Fox News contributor and a retired NYPD inspector. This thing feels like it is growing. What did you think about the interview from the jail?
Yeah.
Can we take it seriously?
Here's the thing. Obviously, she has an incentive to say what she's saying. She's looking at 30 years. She's very involved with this. The danger for the people she's talking about, Waltz, Fry, Ellison, and others, is the fact that she can serve as a pointer. Whether we choose to believe her or not, it comes down to will a grand jury, or ultimately, if it goes to trial, a petit jury, a jury of her peers, 12 people, potentially believing her testimony relative to these other people. But when you have somebody like this that was on the inside, we always called it in intelligence a pointer. She's there to tell you as you go through a mountain of emails, a mountain of communications, which we know they serve subpoenas to get, those subpoenas for documents, right, including electronic documents. As you ferret through a mountain of stuff, if you have a quote-unquote pointer to say, no, forget about that, look over here, saves you a lot of time. It helps focus the investigation. And sure, they might have to cut a deal so that she has less time in order to testify and all of that. But that's how cases are made. Anybody who's ever seen a mafia movie knows that.
It seems like a weak defense. I kept asking, they kept giving, and it's their fault, not mine.
She's not getting out of that.
By the way, 250 million stolen allegedly. About 75 million has been recovered. So there's a lot of money out there that someone has illegally. Now we got some breaking news, Paul. I want to get to that on a Fox News alert, because moments ago, remember that church incident on Sunday in Minneapolis? The AG Pam Bondi posted this. All right, I'm reading now. Minutes ago at my direction, HSI FBI agents executed an arrest in Minnesota. So far, we've arrested Nekima. So far, okay, we'll come back to that. So far, we have arrested Nekima Levy Armstrong, who allegedly played a key role in organizing the coordinated attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. We will share more updates as they become available. Listen loud and clear. We do not tolerate attacks on places of worship, end quote. I want you to react to that, Paul. But on Monday, Trish McLaughlin was on with Dana and me. And part of her answer said, I think we will be seeing mugshots very soon. She was tipping her hand that arrests were on the way, and this is the first one that's been made.
Yeah, and look, there's going to be very, very little that they can do in defense of this because it's on film, and for once they didn't cover their faces. Now here is the thing that's going to come out of this: you have her under arrest. Now you're going to get the communications, and this is where it starts to spider web out. You start to see who was talking to who showed up in regard, including Don Lemon. How much did they all know going in? That imports things like conspiracy charges, which can be quite heavy. There's criminal civil rights charges that are implicated in the church incident.
This is also because one of the things that we found out about that was that they were targeting them because they were privileged white supremacists.
We talked about that earlier in the week. Not only did that come out in the video.
Oh, Don Lemon needs a hate crime charge. We're slapping hate crime charges on gay black men. And I don't care how anybody feels about that shit. It's what we're doing now. Get on board.
Video, and that they said something like that in the church, but then after the fact, Lemon talks about exactly that, putting a racial overtone in the whole thing, which potentially could import a hate crime. So this
There's
was
another
really
thing
badly
about this.
done.
The woman that they've just arrested, I talked a little bit about this on the 5 yesterday because Cam Cawthorn, he writes for Fox Digital, and he had a piece about her. So she's been doing professional protesting and organizing for a long time. She gets a lot of grants from different nonprofits, and she's always made more money than she has spent. So there's a financial incentive for her. There's a business model for these types of things.
We've talked about this really since I've been on the network. One of the things that I've tried to sort of bang the gong on that I think a lot of police who do investigations see that the public doesn't see is that there is a career protester. And it is developed over the last, let's say, dozen years or so into a very lucrative industry. And you have people who do this for a living, make a ton of money.
Yes.
They weaponize people who don't know any better. And to use the Leninist term, useful idiots. They're looking for any cause in the world. They get them out of the campuses. They grow those groups and those institutions. And then they pick out people who want to stay in that world, who don't go back to East Cupcake and get a job eventually after college. They stay in that. They become the middle management, and it grows and it grows. It's very much like any other industry. The problem with it is if you dig down deep enough, you find out that there's tax money going into all of this stuff.
Yeah. Keep in mind, she said so far, so that would indicate more to come.
There's
Paul,
more coming.
Thank you. I mean, trespassing at a minimum. I mean, you were not invited in. That's not your
At
property.
the state level, where's the minute? Well, by the way, this is St. Paul. Where's the St. Paul chief of police?
Fair point.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most.
The last thing that I would say as we conclude is that I want to give a message to the parishioners at City's Church. Again, it appears from your conversations that you have with protesters that not all of you were aware that David Easterwood was serving as a pastor, or is serving as a pastor, and is also the director for the ICE field office located at the Whipple building in St. Paul. The last thing that I would say as we conclude.
So this is the woman in question here, and she actually went to CNN to do a full-length interview here.
For people's homes without a warrant. That is a reversal.
We wish to enter attorney. I don't have much.
Reversal to longstanding practice. And it comes as the DOJ has vowed to charge anti-ICE protesters who rushed into that church in St. Paul, Minnesota. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem last night saying arrests would be coming in the next several hours. Now, the protest on Sunday interrupted the service with chants like this.
ICE out! ICE out! ICE out! ICE out!
Protesters have defended the protest, saying that the pastor at the church is a local official serving with ICE. Now, DHS has not confirmed or denied that. Trump's DOJ, though, has called this a crime and said that it was desecrating a house of worship. So out front now is one of the organizers of that protest, Nekima Levy-Armstrong. She's also an attorney and the former president of the Minneapolis NAACP. So, Nekima, I appreciate your time tonight. This incident has obviously now captured national attention. It's front and center for the Justice Department. Has anyone from DOJ contacted you about potential charges?
No, they have not. They have talked a lot in the media about it, but we have not received any information regarding potential charges. And I do want to correct something that was said in the beginning. We did not rush into that church. We actually went and sat down and participated in the service. And after the pastor prayed, that is when I stood up and asked him a question in response to his prayer. And then he responded to me.
I don't know if that's what the video shows. The video looks like a good old-fashioned church bum rushing. They bum rushed the church, y'all.
And then I proceeded to ask him about Pastor David Easterwood and how is it possible for him to serve as both the pastor and the director of ICE for Minnesota. And instead of responding to me, as soon as I said the name David Easterwood, the pastor says, shame, shame. And that is when I led us in chants, justice for Renee Good and hands up, don't shoot. So I want to clarify that. We didn't rush in, we didn't bust in. We were a part of the service until I got up and posed that question to the pastor.
All right, and obviously, I'm not going to dispute your saying what happened. I'm merely describing how CNN is describing it. I obviously wasn't in the room, but that moment that you're talking about, and obviously the way you lay it out could dramatically affect things. But the moment you talk about justice for Renee Good, I'll play that because we do have audio of that here first. Here it is.
Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good.
So when that happened, okay, obviously City's Church, where you held the protest, they say this was shameful. They say invading a church service to disrupt the worship of Jesus or any other act of worship is protected by neither the Christian scriptures nor the laws of this nation. And I want to note, Nekima, I understand you are an ordained reverend yourself. So I know that you're saying you went in and were peacefully in the church.
What does that even mean anymore? She's a reverend of what? I bet you she gives very, very impassioned sermons at her gay church. I bet you she goes to a gay church. It's a church for hoes and lesbians.
Church and let the prayer finish before you stood up. But what made you do that, to stand up for the chants for all of that inside a church?
Oh, we were welcomed inside of a church. I am a Christian woman. My faith informs my activism. And I think the question should be, what would lead a church like City's Church to have someone in a role that presents an inherent conflict of interest as being both a pastor as well as not just an ICE agent, but the director of ICE in Minnesota. Now, if you have been watching the media reports, you already know that over 3,000 ICE agents have descended upon the Twin Cities. So if we want to talk about busting into somewhere and descending upon a place, then we need to be talking about what ICE has done. And that they have been extremely brutal towards residents of the Twin Cities and across the state of Minnesota. They have been allowed to use brute force. They have been allowed to bust into people's homes and bring high-powered military weapons. They've been allowed to use flashbang grenades, tear gas, most recently almost killing a 6-month-old baby who was riding in a vehicle with their family of 8 when ICE agents launched flashbang grenades and tear gas at that family's SUV. Now, this is not a family of immigrants. This is a family of African Americans, native-born African Americans. and their baby lost.
You know what? We're going to talk about that family in a minute, too. You know that's a lie, right? They didn't just run down on some innocent, hapless black people with their beautiful baby in the back. No, they took their baby to a protest and left them in the car, and then bad things happened because they're bad people.
Consciousness when that tear gas came into the vehicle, and the mom had to perform CPR while talking to someone through 911. And then their other two children, they had to rush to the emergency room because they have asthma and could not breathe as well. So if we want to talk about busting into somewhere, that is what we need to be talking about, and keep the main thing the main thing. Personally, I will not be gaslit by the Trump administration. They are trying to turn a peaceful, nonviolent demonstration into a crime. You have seen, Aaron, how they have weaponized the power of the Department of Justice against Donald Trump's political enemies. How is it that they can investigate our governor, our mayor, James Comey, and so many others, but they won't investigate Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who brutally killed Renee Good, a wife and mother, on January 7th of 2026? That's the question that America should be asking. So anyone more concerned about us going and having a peaceful disruption of a church service, then the reason that they were there, it needs to check their heart, and they need to check their theology.
Nekima, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you having me on.
Endures its third week of occupation by a force of over 3,000 federal immigration agents accused of violating human and civil rights and of fatally shooting resident Renee Good. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino defended the agents' actions Tuesday as, quote, legal, ethical, and moral, unquote. As protests continue, calling for ICE out for good, a play on Renee Good's name, Vice President J.D. Vance will travel to Minneapolis Thursday. This comes as the Justice Department served grand jury subpoenas on several top Democratic officials, including Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, accusing them of obstructing federal law enforcement activities in the state. Attorney General Ellison said in a statement Tuesday, quote, everything about this is highly irregular, especially the fact that this comes shortly after my office sued the Trump administration to challenge their illegal actions within Minnesota, he said. Also on Tuesday, Attorney General Pam Bondi said the Justice Department is investigating demonstrators who disrupted Sunday services at a church in St. Paul to protest one of the church's pastors, David Easterwood, who was reportedly a top ICE official in the Twin Cities.
Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee.
Among those joining the protests were Black Lives Matter Minnesota co-founder Monique Cullors and longtime civil rights leader and ordained Reverend Nekima Levy Armstrong.
David Easterwood is a pastor here. He is also the director of the field office for ICE in St. Paul. So someone who claims to worship God, teaching people in this church about God, is out there overseeing ICE agents.
Now, federal officials claim the church protest is a potential violation of the FACE Act. That's the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which is usually used to protect entrances to abortion clinics. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told Newsmax arrests may be coming soon.
And that pastor really did a remarkable thing there, trying to protect his parishioners.
And even the parishioners, I imagine, have felt and feel intimidated. And
they did. And there's going to be arrests in the next several hours, Greta. There will be arrests tied to that.
David Easterwood's church issued a statement that, quote, invading a church service to disrupt the worship of Jesus or any other act of worship is protected by neither the Christian scriptures nor the laws of this nation, unquote. Meanwhile, activists again gathered Tuesday to call for the pastor's resignation due to his possible connection to ICE. For more, we're joined by Nekima Levy-Armstrong, Minneapolis-based civil rights attorney, founder of the Racial Justice Network. Yes, she's also an ordained reverend and a preacher. We welcome you back to Democracy Now! You're joining us today from an undisclosed location. If you can explain what happened on Sunday, a protest that you were a part of.
Yes. So, Amy, 4 Black women activists and organizers planned Sunday's protest, and I was one of the 4. And we are unapologetic about going into the church. We participated in the first part of the service, and the pastor prayed during the service, "Dear God, please chasten us and help us to get our house in order." So when he was done praying, I stood up and I said, "Excuse me, Pastor, you just prayed this particular prayer." And he said, "Correct." And I said, "Well, help me understand, how is David Easterwood a pastor here and also a director of ICE in St. Paul?" As soon as I mentioned David Easterwood's name, the pastor yells out, "Shame, shame," over the microphone. It was clear that he didn't want to engage me in discussion about this in front of the congregation because he didn't want people in the congregation to know about this conflict of interest that David Easterwood has. I mean, how can you serve as a pastor of the gospel of Jesus Christ while overseeing the brutal conduct of ICE agents who are literally terrorizing communities in the Twin Cities of Minnesota?
So can you respond now to Pam Bondi saying that the protesters, presumably including you, will be arrested? She said this yesterday, but she said it would be within hours. And talk about more about your decision to go into the church.
I can't speak to Pam Bondi and the federal government's decision to investigate those of us who were involved in the protest. There were probably around 24 or so people. I can't speak to their decision-making because these are the same individuals who have firmly decided that they will not investigate ICE agent Jonathan Ross for the killing of Renee Good. I mean, if that's not hypocrisy, I'm not sure what is. How do you investigate and threaten to arrest nonviolent, peaceful protesters who are literally coming into a church to raise questions about this conflict of interest for this pastor? I mean, where is the separation of church and state? And if they're so concerned about what happens inside of churches, then why did Donald Trump roll back protections for churches when it comes to ICE? As a matter of fact, ICE agents can go into churches with the warrant and they can take people out and detain them. There have been cases of ICE agents waiting in parking lots to apprehend people as they are going in or coming out of church services. So clearly the Trump administration could care less about the sanctity of a church.
You got to go where the illegals are, man. Not only are they going into churches, they're going into your home just because. No, I'm joking, but look, the government, a federal judge just said you can't actually go in their houses. If they have a deportation order, you don't need another warrant on top of that.
Very closely what is happening here in Minneapolis from your vantage point. And we just got this new information overnight. The Associated Press was the first to report that ICE is changing its policy, and it is now allowing its agents to forcibly enter homes without a warrant And I just want to be clear, based solely on a more narrow administrative warrant to arrest someone on a final order of removal. Do you think this sharp turn from ICE's policy and from normal policing tactics is a violation of the Constitution's Fourth Amendment?
It is a blatant, craven violation of the Fourth Amendment, a bedrock protection for people in the privacy of their homes. Americans should be terrified that this secret ICE policy authorizes agents to break down doors and ransack through their homes, arresting or detaining people without a judicial warrant. There's a critical difference between that administrative warrant, which is signed by an ICE officer or a deportation official, and a judicial warrant where a judge and a court have to find that there is a cause, probable cause, to enter someone's home. And this shocking policy is linked directly to top officials.
Being an illegal immigrant is probable cause. That sounds clean to me. Sounds like a pretty straightforward, clean legal theory. If we know for a fact you are an illegal immigrant and we know for a fact you are in this place, we have probable cause now.
Of ICE. In fact, the acting director of ICE authored this secret memo, and it is being circulated throughout ICE. It is trained to new agents potentially on the job out there in Minnesota. It exemplifies what Americans are seeing in real time, and it's part of a pattern that I documented in a report that I did interviewing dozens of American citizens illegally detained, lawlessly deprived of opportunities for medical treatment, for making phone calls. And that's why the whistleblower came to us with this memorandum as part of our investigation on the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation, which is going to continue. We're going to demand accountability for this lawless violation of the Fourth Amendment.
However, as an ordained reverend, do care. I believe that if someone professes to represent the gospel of Jesus Christ and to preach it, that they should not be allowing ICE agents to drag people out of their homes, cut women out of seat belts in their cars and drag them out, bust down doors, bust out car windows, bring people out half naked in the freezing cold to detain them, taking trophy pictures with Black men and others that they've apprehended in their homes, scaring children, tear gassing children and families, almost killing a 6-month-old through the use of high-powered military-grade weapons such as flashbang grenades and very strong tear gas. I mean, these are real things that we're dealing with here in the state of Minnesota. It's delusional to pretend that these things aren't happening. It's delusional to pretend that there is a significant problem with David Easterwood serving as a pastor and as the overseer of ICE and defending their conduct, minimizing their conduct. So why are people who are raising their voices on behalf of the vulnerable, on behalf of the poor, in the name of Jesus Christ, the ones being persecuted? It is absolutely an abomination what is happening right now. And I'm continuing to stand 10 toes down for my community and in speaking the truth and in demanding justice and accountability. An ICE agent should not be able to kill someone with impunity, but that is exactly what we see happening with the murder of Renee Good. So we will continue to center these issues. We will not be gaslit by the federal government continuing to weaponize their investigative powers against those with whom they disagree. Even our governor, our mayor, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, you know, there are so many people that they've decided to investigate other than the wrongdoers. And I think that that's unconscionable. It's disgusting. It's despicable. And it's antithetical to democratic values in our democracy.
Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon has also said the ex-CNN journalist Don Lemon may face charges for covering the protest. Dylan has said journalism is not a shield from a criminal conspiracy. And he said that Don Lemon was committing journalism. Can you respond to this as we wrap up?
It's absolutely absurd. Don Lemon had no idea what the protest would even entail. For this particular protest, the only people who are aware of what's going to happen are the organizers. So Don Lemon made the decision to come to Minnesota on Sunday. He reached out on Saturday night after he saw my flyer for the protest that I posted on social media. And I said, you know, if you want to come and document, you're welcome to, but I cannot give you any information about the demonstration itself. So this is an attack on the free press, as we've seen time and time again from the Trump administration. Don Lemon did nothing wrong other than being there documenting our voices as well as the voices of parishioners and asking them what they thought about ICE, what they thought about Pastor David Easterwood being a high-ranking official within ICE. Some of the parishioners didn't even know about this man's dual role. So Don Lemon did his job as a journalist, and he should be protected. And this is along the lines of what has happened to journalists, whether they are being smeared in the media, threatened with investigation, or physically assaulted by ICE agents in the field. We've had journalists wearing press badges and still being tear gassed, still being shot with rubber bullets and harmed by ICE agents and others who are a part of the federal government. This has to end.
We want to thank you.
You know, the idea that you can just slap a badge on yourself and call yourself press, and then all your crimes are absolved. Those days are done, because what we realize is that the professional journalism class is very organized, and they take these approaches to create obscurity. But this woman in particular is a paid professional protester. It is her job to go out and break the law and provoke whatever circumstance she can create, and then capitalize on the outcome of it.
On WCCO, which is an affiliate of CBS, and shame on CBS, because instead of holding Liz Collin accountable and firing her for her lack of journalistic ethics and integrity, they gave Bob Crow a platform in the aftermath of George Floyd being killed. So shame on WCCO, shame on Liz Collin, shame on CBS.
Let's go,
And y'all just defending this shit. Listen when I tell y'all, the KKK ain't never left the state of Minnesota. As a matter of fact, we in Cleveland right now. They are running out coward ass
here and not acknowledge what's going on with their barbecue and their beer, and they shake their head, and you know, and we can come to your house too next. We can slide on over and come to your house too. It ain't no thing, you know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're here in Hugo, Minnesota. Bob Crow's house right around here. Bob Crow is the president of Minneapolis Police Federation, the police union, and protesters are out here against Bob Crow and his wife, Liz Collin, who's an anchor for WCCO. This has been happening. Yeah. And that's Bob Crow's house right there.
Privilege and white supremacy to stand up for justice.
They burned down for $20 goddamn. You think we gonna fuck about burning Hugo now? Y'all running y'all coward ass back in the garage and changing shirts. Blue lives don't mean shit to black people.
We're taking over this shit. We're here. We're lit. We're taking over this shit. No cops, no KKK, no racist USA.
Now, again, this is 2020. It was a lot easier to get black people out in the streets, you know. The cause was ready-made for black emotional support.
When you think about our movement here in the Twin Cities, it's been going on consistently since at least 2014, after Mike Brown was killed in Ferguson. That's when we started marching, protesting, demonstrating, running for office, to try to change things and to prevent the killing of George Floyd. When you think about our movement here in the Twin Cities, it's been going on.
And so obviously we're in the phase of this next movement where we need to rally the Black troops, and they just haven't done a good enough job of rallying the Black troops. So now we have our first Black martyr, effectively, right? She has been arrested for the Somalis. Not even the first. Technically, there's a woman in Congress who's facing charges for like assaulting on an ICE officer right now. So they're putting Black what do you call it again? I said the word and I lost it again. But they need a martyr. That's what it is. They need martyrs for the Black cause. Without Black martyrs, the stuff just doesn't, it's not going to hit right.
They've just arrested Nakima Armstrong for our protest on Sunday. You know, my lawyers tell me they have no fucking case. This use of the FACE Act and the KKK Act is complete bullshit. But let's be honest, they don't fucking care. They don't believe in the rule of law. They're fascists. They're now going after fucking the Clintons for the Epstein files. What the fuck? God damn it, people. When will you stop fucking acting like everything's normal and going about your fucking days? Get in the fucking streets now. It's time to shut this country down. We are at fascism. The republic has fucking fallen. Please, Americans, please stand up for something. Do not be the same as those in 1930s Germany, because right now that's exactly what you're all fucking doing. Please wake the fuck up.
Notice how, once again, your entire morality has to be based on this fiction of 1930s Germany. You know, because we hate 1930s Germany, you can't have a country anymore. 1930s Germany was like comic book levels of evil. Therefore, you can't have a country anymore. Always the same game. Once you start to notice the game doesn't work as much on you anymore.
You think of this? Just a harmless Christian here that wants to praise the Lord with my son, and now I got to go home. I'm sorry that you guys are so angry.
I'm just chronicling. I'm not with the group.
Oh, what do I have to say?
Can you understand why they're angry?
I don't understand any of this because I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man who loves the Lord and is a good father. This is what we look forward to, is coming, being with our family and praising Jesus. And that's not something that we have to run away from. So this is kind of a bad day for us. But, we're going to heaven. So that's the best news we got.
Do you understand that some of these folks feel voiceless?
I don't understand because right now I'm so upset right now. I don't really have I'm thirsty and I can't think very clearly. So what I want to do is just say, we love you. My son and I love you guys. And that's
I'm a journalist. They're activists.
The simplest thing we can say is that we love you guys.
What do you mean, you guys?
Well, whoever's here in this house.
Okay.
We don't distinguish between Christian and non-Christian. We love everyone. We want everyone to come to heaven.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We want folks to go to heaven. And if we need to talk about these things, then this isn't the time for that, really.
But don't you think until we go to heaven, or if you believe in that there should be some sort of peace here on earth, and that people should have agency, and we shouldn't be beating people up off the street, and we should be abiding by the Constitution?
I don't know if Don and his husband are going to get into heaven. It's going to be like the most awkward club scene ever. It's like, bro, you and your husband just ain't on the list, man.
That's just a little bit loaded for me right now. What you're doing.
Why so?
Well, I don't want to interview right now. I don't want to interview. I just want to tell you guys I love you. I don't need to interview right now because I want to be with my son. It's Sunday. It's time for rest and for renewal. I would like to answer your question. I just can't right now.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Don got to get himself into heaven, y'all. You know what else happened recently too? You guys remember the crazy TikTok lady who was looking for a revolutionary boyfriend or something?
I just wanted to check in with everybody really quickly. I just returned from being detained by ICE for like 8 hours. I'm going to tell more of this story. I just have to actually think it through right now. I was with a friend and we were boxed in by 2 different ICE vehicles, and they ran into the back of my car. And
Oh my God, 2 different ICE vehicles, one from the front, one from the back. Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. There was an ICE vehicle so one ICE guy was in the front and another ICE guy was in the back, and just like, what did you do? Like, oh my God, like, what is a girl to do?
then claimed that I hit their car. So they came and broke my windows and pulled us out of the car and proceeded to tell us that we were being detained because we had assaulted a federal agent. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. I just got back to my house. I want to shout out Safe Haven, MN. They were at the Whipple building where you are held in detention, because when they let you go, they just put you out in the cold. They don't fucking care. And I'm so grateful they were there. They grabbed us, they put us in a van, they gave us a burner phone because they took the phones. When we were being detained, I threw my phone to a stranger on the side of the road. I yelled my address, and I say this a lot: build community, because they didn't give us a phone call, they didn't let us do anything, but our community realized when we didn't show up for something that something was wrong. And then there were videos, and so there's going to be more information. But
She doesn't look like the Grinch. She looks like one of the Who's from Whoville. This she looks really like a long-haired Who from Whoville. You know, when the Who's get horny. Get ICE out of Whoville. The ICE agents are the Grinches. That's really what it is. The ICE agents are the Grinches, and she's just a long-haired, hot, horny Who in Whoville. Not really hot, but you know, just roll with the story for a minute. You know, she's a long-haired, horny Who from Whoville, and those mean Grinches, they tried to DP her in the snow. One stopped her from the front. There was another right behind her. She was like, "Oh my God, it's not supposed to happen in Whoville."
this is all I can do for right this second.
Oh my God, this horny hoes of Whoville.
Why are you trying to pull them out? What did they do? They hit your vehicle? You came up and you got right behind them. They didn't hit you on purpose. Can you please just let her go? You guys are interrogating her. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Just get out. This is not worth your time. You have bigger fish to fry. Just go. Get out. Go. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Just let her go. We are on the corner of 41st and 21st. This SUV filled with ICE pulled up. As she was trying to move, they hit the back of her car. They're now pulling her out because they're claiming she ran into them, which she did not. Let's be very clear. There is nothing wrong with their vehicle. They have no reason to be detaining her right now. This is unlawful, and this is not okay. This is happening in front of my house in Minneapolis. Let them go! Get their names! Get their names!
You fucking Nazi bastard! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Fuck you,
They literally were not doing anything. Pulled them out of their vehicle. We don't get footage of the back of her car too. Look at that. They claim that she hit their vehicle. There is nothing wrong with the back of the cars. Nothing wrong with the cars. Pulled her out of the cars claiming they hit her, that this woman hit them. This is bullshit.
You fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you guys. Sally turned you down for prom.
You should be so ashamed of yourself.
Were following these two men, and I was waiting for these two men to hold the door for me, and I told them, hey, can you hold the door for me? And I walked right in the middle, and when I was in the middle, ICE came. They came out of their cars. They asked me to see my ID, and while they were asking me to see the ID, they just decided it was nice to be racist and say really nasty things to me. And that man, he called me the N-word, and he called me that, and then he arrested me. They arrested me. It was multiple people. They used a lot of force to arrest me. I actually got a scab that was healing while I was in jail. But they pushed me hard. They used a lot of violence. My body still hurts. I got a concussion. It's really hard for me to speak because of that concussion. They were just using a lot of force to arrest me, and I was screaming, I was crying, I was so scared. I've never been arrested in my life. I don't have a criminal record. I have a clean record. It was just, and then that detainment, I was detained. I was literal cuffs were put on my legs, cuffs on my hands, and I was actually detained with a Native American woman. And God bless her heart, she went through a lot too. She was also detained by ICE, and she was also a U.S. citizen, and like me. And she had gashes on her face. They shattered her windows. She had blood on her jeans, her corduroy jeans, and she was crying because she was so scared because she was with her dog. She was so scared that her dog got hurt. She was so scared for her life. We were both crying together. We were holding each other tight, and I'll never forget the fear that we both felt in our hearts that day.
It's so funny looking at this and just feeling nothing. I just don't believe anything you tell me right now. I don't think any of this is real. I could be crazy. I could be wrong, but I don't think any of this is real.
And I'm so sorry if I'm getting a little emotional, but
Sometime. It's okay. You've done enough.
Thank you.
And you hear she's got her liberal white handlers there. Oh, it's okay. You've done enough. Go sit down. Go drink your water. Come on. You did enough. You did enough. Come over here. You did enough. You did good. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. Come on, girl. You did enough.
My name is Bashir Hussain. I am a 20-year-old U.S. citizen from Minneapolis, Minnesota. On December 10th, 2025, during my lunch break, I was violently arrested by federal immigration agents. I repeatedly told the agents that I'm a U.S. citizen and I had my ID and passport. Instead, the agents ignored my pleas and forced me to the ground and placed me in a headlock. The injuries and trauma from that day have stayed with me. Since that incident, I have experienced symptoms of PTSD.
All right. I call bullshit.
Spaces.
I call bullshit. Hold up. You want me to believe somebody put that in a headlock? I got to see the agent first, bro. Nobody just randomly puts you in a headlock. That's a lot of work.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's a lot of work. You got this palm tree afro thing going on up there so you can obscure the true circumference of your dome, but I just don't believe you got randomly put in a headlock, bro.
On December 10th, 2025, during my lunch break, I was violently arrested by federal immigration agents. I repeatedly told the agents that I'm a U.S. citizen and I had my ID and passport. Instead, the agents ignored my pleas and forced me to the ground and placed me in a headlock. The injuries and trauma from that day have stayed with me. Since that incident, I have experienced symptoms of PTSD, intense anxiety in public spaces, panic when I hear whistles, sirens, and car horns, trouble sleeping, constant stress, and emotional exhaustion. I have also experienced ongoing physical pain and tension that started after my detention. I no longer feel safe in my community. My family has been affected by this as much as I have. They watch me come home drained and physically hurt. The fear that this could happen again has created constant stress and has changed our lives. I am raising funds to support my recovery, including trauma-informed mental health therapy and counseling, medical care for stress-related symptoms and physical symptoms, basic living and recovery-related expenses while I focus on healing. If you are able to donate, I am very grateful. If not,
he's raising money. He didn't even get deported. He asking for money.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
You guys remember the Black Panther Party? The new Black Panthers? With that really, really suspicious light-skinned dude as their leader?
Follow your oath. I will dignify everyone I encounter during the commission of my ship. I will treat everybody with courtesy and respect. It doesn't say as long as they don't disrespect me. Now, my comrade, he got heated up and I sent him off. But it don't matter what you say to me, right? You're not going to get me out of character because what I stand for means more to me than anything you can say. That's what that's supposed to mean to you. Now, you let people get you out of your character, then you disrespecting the thing you say you stand for. And the reality of the matter is the slave owners, the 13 colonies, all look like you, and all the slaves look like him. And that's the point that he was making. See what I'm saying? And that's the truth. It's irrefutable. And that badge, the origin of it is slave catcher patrol. And them, the origin of black people being slave catchers was Master would come to the slave and he would say, look, if you help me protect my property, I won't touch your wife, I won't touch your daughter, you get a little shack at the end of the plantation. You help me catch my property. And the property you was helping catch was other black people. Because the slave owners thought you had instincts of helping them catch your own people. So that's what he's telling him. He's telling him that what he's wearing, the origin of what he's wearing, is the slavers hiring him to help catch other people like him. Now, it don't apply to you because you're not black. You're not a descendant of American slaves. But black people who were born, follow your oath. I will dignify everyone I encounter during the commission of my ship. I will treat everybody with courtesy and respect. It doesn't say as long as they don't disrespect me. Now, my comrade, he got heated up and I sent him off. But it don't matter what you say to me, right? You're not going to get me out of character because what I stand for means more to me than anything you can say. That's what that's supposed to mean to you. Now, you let people get you out.
So he's rallying his troops right here. But I told you, not everybody's really feeling this new Black Panther guy. The streets are starting to do a background check, man.
This goes out to all you space monkey, porch monkey ass motherfuckers sitting there trying to represent the Black Panthers. We are not doing that.
Now, this lady here says she's Huey P. Newton's niece, right? A child of the revolution. The revolution is hard on children, by the way. Just, put that in the back of your mind. But this is a child of the revolution here. Huey P. Newton's niece, y'all.
This goes out to all you space monkey, porch monkey ass motherfuckers sitting there trying to represent the Black Panthers. We are not doing that. Y'all ain't no Black Panthers. What y'all, the cartoon motherfucking character? Y'all don't even know your fucking history. Y'all sitting out there and want to fight for an illegal who's taking away your housing, your benefits, kicking you out of your motherfucking shit, and you want to get up there and act like this is, we ain't doing this. And the cold part about it is that little space monkey up there talking about, oh, you come up over here, we gonna do this. Nigga, you's a mark. You a mark, okay? That's right. Coming straight from a real Newton. You a mark ass motherfucker. And guess what? Your day of running around here pretending and wanting to be a Panther, a Black Panther, the Black Panther Party is over. Watch this, player, coming for you. This goes out to all you space.
Now check this out. Check this out. Before he was a Panther, he was a Paru in a whole other town.
Chief Green says the department is monitoring the situation.
I can't validate that there's any type of gang there, but certainly what has been posted is alarming.
We showed a video to the chief of an interview we did 2 weeks ago with a protester. He talked about protesters in Portland being taken in unmarked vehicles by agents. But during the interview,
how you start out as the Portland Paru and end up as a Philadelphia Panther? That's a wild life journey right there.
he talks about gangs in Lansing.
You come try to snatch one of us, the rest of us gonna blast your. You better do that while we not with each other. And then you come to in Sandhurst with the Pyrus and the Gangster Disciples is linked up at and try to snatch somebody over there. I dare you. Make sure you get this in Sandhurst. That's Sandhurst. Come over there and try to take somebody. I dare you. I dare you. Your mama gonna be picking out caskets and flowers.
Very concerning. Very concerning. And that's the first time I've seen that video. It's alarming to see that type of video. And definitely we have some great partnerships with our federal partners, our state partners. Would like to get a copy of that video and make sure we do a deep dive and for proper understanding.
Anything that could be nothing, I want to call and report to get more police presence out here. We really, we really want this taken care of.
And this is an ongoing investigation. So once we learn more, we will make sure to share that with you on 6 News. Lauren and Sherry, back to you.
And I told you, there are other Panthers out there. Apparently there's a whole, what do you call a group of cats? There's a pride of Panthers out there, and they don't all agree on this nigga.
Our stance is, for illegals. We're not going to step in front of that. That's not our fight. That has nothing to do with us. We're not going to step into that fight and going through the community defending somebody that we didn't even want to be here. Our stance is, for illegals.
So the other Panthers in the pride, they we're not fighting for illegals. We're not doing that. So, there is division in the Panther pride. They don't know they don't know what they want to do about this shit. They don't know what they're doing. I want to move on to this other story real quick. This other story just got debunked hours ago.
In tonight's deep dive, we're focusing on ICE enforcement in Minneapolis and one family's experience that's getting national attention. Sean and Destiny Jackson say they and their 6 kids were on their way home from their oldest son's basketball game last week when they got caught between federal agents and protesters. They say after ICE agents told them to leave, tear gas was thrown under their car, detonating the airbags and trapping their family inside, including their 6-month-old baby, as black smoke filled the car, obstructing their vision and their ability to breathe. As a result, Destiny says her baby temporarily stopped breathing and she had to perform CPR before the family went to the hospital. Destiny and her husband, Sean, are here to share more of their story. So Destiny and Sean, thank you both so much for making the time. First of all, can you just walk us through what happened to you last week? What's really sticking with you emotionally still?
And I've been neglecting my super chats. Apologies, y'all. Gecko with the 5 ball said the gift is strong with this one. And before that, Mystery Enigma with the 233 says, how can you arrest God? Not only did they try to arrest God, they hurt God and her little fat man and her fat baby.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
The face of the young liberal black family is crazy. This is just a wild picture of like a young family. Anyway.
Well, as you guys know, have seen last week, we were on our way home from our son's basketball game. We stopped at our local grocery store to grab some food for dinner on the way home. Just the normal way that we go home. We were going up.
What do you call a group of hyenas? Like lions travel in a pride. And lions are really one of the few cat species, like feline species, that actually roll in a pack like that. I really can't offhand think of any other group of felines that travel like, you know, pumas, panthers, jaguars, tigers. They're all like solitary creatures, really, outside of their individual reproductive units. But hyenas, on the other hand, what's a hyena pack called? A cackle? Is it a cackle of hyenas? Is that a word? I like that.
Up the hill, and when we got to the top of the hill, there was yellow tape everywhere, and basically like nowhere drive. We bust a right and kind of had to pull over to let cars that were already coming up the street through. And in the process of that, kind of just asked like what was going on. We thought maybe like in our side of the neighborhood, most of the time it's like stuff like that is like killing or homicide, you know. And so we were alerted that, you know, ICE was doing their little thing. They had shot somebody.
Yo, not Cackle Rock, bro. Why you gotta disrespect the legends? No, these youngins don't even know the glory of Fraggle Rock, bro. Why you gotta disrespect the legend like that? Not Cackle Rock, bro. You're killing me.
I had seen my mom out there, and I didn't want her to be out there due to like her heart condition and stuff like that. And when it was time, when we were about to leave to go home, everything just took a turn for the worse.
And you said your baby stopped breathing for a period of time earlier. I mean, that moment must still be with you.
That moment is still with me. I mean, like the biggest moment that's with me, that is something, but it was just like,
why is she doing all the talking? Like as a moment for family, like you know, we're showing face as a family to the world and all that. The media got questions for nigga type shit. Why is she doing all the talking for the family? Like, I'm not saying she got to sit there and be all, you know, silent and stoic, but this nigga too silent and too stoic. Like, bro, this your family. Is that your baby? Don't you have any words to say about your baby?
being trapped in the car. Like when our airbags deployed, we got our car went into an anti-lock system and all of our doors locked. There was no, I can remember trying to kick windows, and I slowly began to like just feel for everybody's door, and I started unlocking doors. Once we were out of the car, I was screaming for, I told them I still have kids in the car. People were pulling me in the house. And I'm like, no, I have babies in the car. And my infant was the last one to enter in the house that we were pulled into. And he was like lifeless. Like, I mean, it was horrible.
Have you and your family fully processed what exactly happened, and how are your kids doing?
We have not fully processed. I mean,
that nigga look like he's still processing now. That nigga head going beep boop boop beep beep boop poppy beep boop boop beep beep. That nigga don't even talk. That nigga just thinking beeps and shit. What the hell is going on over here?
It's been nothing but sleepless nights, honestly. We're like, up every hour, 45 minutes to an hour, like checking cameras outside of the house, just with like just being scared, you know, like scared that they might just come and retaliate and come to the house just because we are telling our story of what happened. My kids have so many questions about what happened. They're asking about, like, you know, are we gonna get a new car?
He said he's traumatized. Oh, I can't imagine like this being my kid. And first of all, you know, we're about to tear this whole story down anyway, so never mind all that. But I can't even imagine something like this happening to my kid, and I'm just quiet. I'm just stoic, like I'm in a corner just brewing and shit, just can't even make a word.
And they're saying things like, "But we need an armored car, or we need a bulletproof car," and stuff like that. So yeah, it's sticking with them.
And Sean, when you were trapped in the car and the ICE agents had surrounded the car, I mean, what were you thinking in that moment about what you could do?
You gonna talk?
I couldn't do anything. It's like,
oh, he could talk.
We seen what happened with Renee.
Oh shit! He said, "I see what they did to that white girl." The first thing out this nigga mouth is they killed a white woman. Oh my God, the first thing out of his mouth is they killed the white woman, so you know I was terrified. That shit had me afraid. If they gonna do that to a cute little white girl, what they gonna do to my big old black ass? Oh God, the first thing on his mind was they killing white women out here. These crackers is crazy. They is killing white girl. Don't white girl me. Please, Mr. Charlie, please. Whatever you do, Mr. Charlie, please don't white girl me. Now, I'll be a good nigga. I sees what you do to that white girl. That white girl, she was innocent, Mr. Charlie. I swear she was. Don't do me like you did that white woman's. I'll be good. I's gonna be good now.
Toby be good nigga for massa. Good nigga. Don't send Toby away.
You were trapped in the car and the ICE agents had surrounded the car. I mean, what were you thinking in that moment about what you could do?
I couldn't do anything. It's like, we seen what happened with Renee, and it's like I wasn't gonna let that happen to me. So it's like I couldn't do anything.
We couldn't pull off at that moment. We didn't want to pull off because we didn't want that to happen, but we definitely weren't aware that what happened was going to happen.
Were you gonna get into a high-speed police chase with your baby, your children in the vehicle? Was that even on your mind? You're gonna give the kids a pep talk like, all right, kids, remember the drill. Seatbelts on, hands inside the vehicle. Are your kids prepped for high-speed police chases? Is that something that was just already on the list of things you could possibly do? Just out of curiosity, you know, niggas like y'all, I have to ask now. I don't know what these young black families really be doing anymore.
And the Department of Homeland Security responded to our reporting about your incident, and DHS wrote in a social media post that has now been deleted that it is horrific to see radical agitators bring children to their violent riots. Please stop endangering your children. What's your reaction to that message?
I'm pretty sure they deleted that because they know that we weren't there protesting. There was a narrative. I was there. We were trying to get home, and then my mom was there, and we seen her there, and we wanted her to get home. And in the process, I mean, the people have seen videos in the process. You guys may see us out there, but you can see me standing by my mom. You could see my husband standing by my mom. We wanted her to go home, and
you were out there.
We've never protested. Nobody has ever known us to protest, so we weren't just bringing our kids to protest. We were just trying to go home.
How have you explained what happened to your children?
I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain what happened to us or my children. And like, you know, like it was horrific. And like people, they say mean things, but at the end of the day, like we know what happened, and nobody has had to live through or is living through what happened. And it's very like, that was a very traumatic event for us. And, you know, like, and it's even more traumatizing for the things that people are saying all over social media and online and stuff.
You mentioned sleepless nights. Sean and Destiny, do you feel safe stepping outside of your home right now? Do you feel safe having your kids going outside in the neighborhood?
No. We don't even feel safe sleeping in our own house.
Could you ever imagine something like this happening in your own neighborhood in Minnesota?
I mean, like, no. I mean, like, they hadn't even been, like, I guess we had not, like, we work, we live over north, we work over north, like, we haven't seen ICE agents this way. So to have seen that was, like, crazy. And then to have lived that was even crazier. Like, now it's just like, oh, it's real. Like, this is really happening. And now it has happened to us. And it's just like, no, I don't feel safe. Nobody's safe.
And you were, to your point, you were coming home from your son's game. You were not involved in these protests in any way. What is your message to anybody in Minnesota who might find themselves in a similar situation?
Just to, like, I don't know, like.
They were still having football games during all this stuff. They canceled school, but they were still having football games. That's curious.
Have an exit plan, try to get around it. I mean, like, I stopped just for a couple of minutes just to do a good deed, and it's just like, it didn't end well for me. So I'm just like, just be aware of your surroundings and watch their body language.
Destiny.
You stopped for a few minutes to do what good deed?
A good deed, and it's just for a couple of minutes just to get around it. I mean, like, I stopped just for a couple of minutes just to do a good deed, and it's just like, it didn't end well for me. So I'm just like, just be aware of your surroundings and watch their body language.
Destiny and Sean Jackson, thank you both for coming on our show and sharing your story.
Shout out to Little Rock
for having us.
Shout out to Little Rock with the 5 ball for the Jim Eagle College Fund.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Fireworks were exchanged.
We were leaving South Minneapolis from our son's basketball game at Anderson Middle School.
As the night unfolded.
Whoa. 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 Did she say a basketball game or a football game? Chat, help me out here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I just hear her talk about a basketball game before this or a football game? Which one was it? In the previous clip, she said she was bringing a kid back from a football game.
Like, I mean, it was horrible.
Wrote in a social media post that has now been deleted that it is horrific to see radical agitators bring children to their violent riots. Please stop endangering your children. What's your reaction to that message?
I'm pretty sure they deleted that because they know that we weren't there protesting. There was a narrative. I was there. We were trying to get home, and then my mom was there, and we seen her there, and we wanted her to get home. And in the process, I mean, people have seen videos in the process. You guys may see us out there, but you can see me.
How can you just like drive by? You just drove by randomly and you spotted your mom? That in and of itself is like odd. You just drove by randomly through a protest and it's like, oh, there's my mom. Let's get out.
Standing by my mom. You could see my husband standing by my mom. We wanted her to go home, and we've never protested. Nobody has ever known us to protest, so we weren't just bringing our kids to protest. We were just trying to go home.
How have you explained what happened to your children?
I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain what happened to us or my children. And like, it was horrific. And like, people, they say mean things, but at the end of the day, like, we know what happened, and nobody has had to live through or is living through what happened. And it's very, like, that was a very traumatic event for us. And, and it's even more traumatizing for the things that people are saying all over social media and online and stuff.
You mentioned sleepless nights. Sean and Destiny, do you feel safe stepping outside of your home right now? Do you feel safe having your kids going outside in the neighborhood?
No, no. We don't even feel safe sleeping in our own house.
Could you ever imagine something like this happening in your own neighborhood in Minnesota?
I mean, like, no. I mean, like, they hadn't even been, like, I guess we had not, like, we work, we live over north, we work over north, like, we haven't seen ICE agents this way. So to have seen that was, like, crazy. And then to have lived that was even crazier. Like, now it's just like, oh, it's real. Like, this is really happening. And now it has happened to us. And it's just like, no.
Oh, yeah, maybe I got to start it from the beginning because I'm trying to find a spot where it says where they were coming from. I know I just talked about them saying that they were playing football. I could have sworn she said they were coming back from a football game in this clip.
In Minneapolis, in one family's experience, federal tear gas died. Their vision, breathe on her here to really sticky.
I've seen last week, we were on our way home from our son's basketball game.
Okay, my bad. She said
At our
basketball.
local grocery store to grab some food for dinner. On the way home, just the normal way that we go home, we were going up the hill, and when we got to the top of the hill, there was yellow tape everywhere, and basically like nowhere drive. We bust a right and kind of had a thing. They had shot somebody. I had to turn for the worst.
And you said your baby stopped breathing for a period of time.
That moment is still with the airbags deployed. We got our car went into I started unlocking doors. Once we were out of the car, I was screaming for I told them I still have kids in the car. People were pulling me in the house. And I'm like, no, I have babies in the car. And my infant was the last one to enter in the house that we were pulled into. And he was like lifeless. Like, I mean, it was horrible.
Have you and your family fully processed what exactly happened, and how are your kids doing?
We have not fully processed. I mean, it's been nothing but sleepless nights, honestly. We're like up every hour, 45 minutes to an hour, like checking cameras outside of the house, just being scared, like scared that they might just come and retaliate and come to the house just because we are telling our story of what happened. My kids have so many questions about what happened. They're asking about are we going to get a new car? And they're saying things like, well, we need an armored car, or we need a bulletproof car, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's sticking with them.
And Sean, when you were trapped in the car and the ICE agents had surrounded the car, I mean, what were you thinking in that moment about what you could do?
I couldn't do anything. It's like, we seen what happened with Renee, and it's like, I wasn't gonna let that happen to me. So it's like, I couldn't do anything.
We couldn't pull off at that moment. We didn't want to pull off because we didn't want that to happen, but we definitely weren't aware that what happened was going to happen.
And the Department of Homeland Security responded to our reporting about your incident, and DHS wrote in a social media post that has now been deleted that it is horrific to see radical agitators bring children to their violent riots. Please stop endangering your children. What's your reaction to that message?
I'm pretty sure they deleted that because they know that we weren't there protesting. There was a narrative. I was there. We were trying to get home, and then my mom was there, and we seen her there, and we wanted her to get home. And in the process, I mean, people have seen videos in the process. You guys may see us out there, but you can see me standing by my mom. You could see my husband standing by my mom. We wanted her to go home, and we've never protested. Nobody has ever known us to protest, so we weren't just bringing our kids to protest. We were just trying to go home.
How have you explained what happened to your children?
I don't even know how to explain what happened to us or my children. And it was horrific. And people, they say mean things, but at the end of the day, we know what happened, and nobody has had to live through or is living through what happened. And it's very that was a very traumatic event for us. And, and it's even more traumatizing for the things that people are saying all over social media and online and stuff.
You mentioned sleepless nights. Sean and Destiny, do you feel safe stepping outside of your home right now? Do you feel safe having your kids going outside in the neighborhood?
No, no. We don't even feel safe sleeping in our own house.
Could you ever imagine something like this happening in your own neighborhood in Minnesota?
I mean, like, no. I mean, like, they hadn't even been, like, I guess we had not, like, we work, we live over north, we work over north, like, we haven't seen ICE agents this way. So to have seen that was, like, crazy. And then to have lived that was even crazier. Like, now it's just like, oh, it's real. Like, this is really happening. And now it has happened to us. And it's just like, no, I don't feel safe. Nobody's safe.
And you were, to your point, you were coming home from your son's game. You were not involved in these protests in any way. What is your message to anybody in Minnesota who might find themselves in a similar situation?
Just to, like, I don't know, like, have an exit plan, how to get around it. I mean, like, I stopped just for a couple of minutes just to do a good deed, and it's just like, it didn't end well for me. So I'm just like, just be aware of your surroundings and watch their body language.
Destiny and Sean Jackson, thank you both for coming on our show and sharing.
Fireworks.
Okay, I was wrong. I got that part
We're
wrong.
leaving South Minneapolis from our son's basketball game at Anderson Middle School.
As the night unfolded,
We started to see, lights and stuff.
one North Minneapolis family trying to make their way home.
Like, even trying to leave, I couldn't go backwards, forward. It was like I was stuck.
Destiny and Sean Jackson, along with their 6 kids, had just left the nearby grocery store after the game when they turned onto Lindale. Sean says they tried to take a side street after they saw the crowds.
There's nothing we can do if it's blocked off.
Sean and Destiny say they were stuck between crowds of protesters and law enforcement. When law enforcement tried to disperse the crowd,
All we heard was boom, and every airbag deployed.
they say a flashbang went off near their car as tear gas enveloped them.
And I was screaming to my oldest son, Sean. I'm like, get out, get out. Like, I can't, Mom, and I can't breathe.
Destiny says bystanders pulled her into a home to check on her as she screamed that her 6-month-old child was still in the car.
He was just like lifeless, like he had like foam like around his mouth, and he had tears coming out his eyes. I was giving him mouth to mouth, and I remember stopping and I said, I will give you all my breath till you get yours back, because nobody wants to see their kids like that.
The family was taken to the hospital, all now okay.
Like, my kids' stuff is still in the car. My son's school stuff.
A family on their way home, caught in chaos.
Now, here's video of her out on the street well before the police actually showed up. She was just out there hanging out and about in the protest. So she was just there chilling. Let me jump over to some more footage. So we have a still shot of her and her husband hanging out.
Engine 4 to respond for now. On the corner of 23rd and Lindale Avenue North, we got a report of a baby that's been exposed to tear gas. At 404 India, Engine 4. We got a report 626 23rd Avenue North, a baby that's been exposed to tear gas. At 404 India, 2123.
Wednesday night, as chemical gas, flashbangs, and fireworks.
But she was definitely out there in the streets well before the police even showed up. It was the same footage again. So that's her right there. I guess one of those chicks is her mom. I don't know. But yeah, so, and this whole thing, right? If you and your mom are right here in the middle of the street and your husband is in there with you somewhere, where are the children? Where are your kids? If you came out here and you're in the middle of this big crowd, where are your kids at right now? Maybe, hopefully, they at least left the kids in the car. But who knows? Who knows? I hear parenting is hard, so, let me not judge. I hear parenting is like the most difficult job ever, so, I'm not going to judge. Let me see what else happened recently. Oh, Chris Cuomo. Let me play this video for you guys.
You see this clip of Scott Jennings saying, how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?
Say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And
How are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
What are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? Because you're talking to this kid who happens to be right, calling people illegals. They're called illegal aliens in the law. And you know what? A long time ago, Republicans and Democrats switched to undocumented. Why? Because it seemed inhuman. That's why. They changed the vernacular, and you know it. But that's not the point. The point is, how are you going to do it? What are you going to do? What are you? You're a tough guy now, huh? I thought you were just supposed to be the simpering, but, open to conversation Trump defender. Of course, I remember you when you said he was like the worst thing in the world. But everything's convenience these days, right? It's getting you paid. But be careful. If you want to be a tough guy, there are plenty of tough guys out there. You want to see how somebody can make you stop saying illegal? And then what are you going to do, sue? Tough guy. How are you going to enforce that? So if somebody beats your ass because you're being rude and disrespectful and causing division in this country, that's causing distress and pain all over the streets and making people want to hurt one another. If you really want to be a part of that, as the expression goes, FAFO, don't be a tough guy. Make tough points. But remember to be decent. You're not a tough guy, okay? You're a guy with slick to the side hair, a slick tongue, and everybody knows what you're doing. Don't be a tough guy, not you.
You heard Fredo. Fredo said, don't be a tough guy. Let me see what else we got going on.
I'm Carlin Barasenko. I'm an analyst and independent journalist covering the far left in America. And tonight I recorded one of the most insane leftist activism calls that I have recorded in the years that I have been covering the far left. And I have infiltrated hundreds of leftist organizing calls. What I heard in this call, my jaw hit the floor. Tonight I infiltrated a call with the Sunrise Movement student organizers. These are mostly college students, although there were high school students on the call who were discussing their anti-ICE activism all over the country. In addition to being affiliated with the Sunrise Movement, many of them are members of the group Socialist Alternative, which has been one of the groups that has been highly active in anti-ICE organizing in Minneapolis. These students talked about how they're the ones staging the noise protests outside the hotels deliberately to keep ICE agents up, deliberately to pressure hotels into kicking them out and not housing ICE agents. These students talked about the general strike that's going on Friday and how this is all preparation for the big revolutionary strike that they hope to do in 2028 that I've reported on countless times, the big mass general strike they want to use to shut down the economy. These students then went into breakout sessions where one of the key topics in the breakout room that I was in was, how do you deal with your friends that are counter protesters that come and show up with American flags? And hint, hint, spoiler alert. The answer was, if anyone shows up to an American flag, or excuse me, if anyone shows up to our protest with an American flag, we are going to kick them out or make fun of them or humiliate them, make them feel unwelcome at the protest. So that is something I have on video as well. I mean, these students are highly indoctrinated activists, and I think it's going to be shocking for a lot of people to see this coming out of the mouths of people who could be the children of many people who consider themselves to be anti-communist. So I will be dropping the clips from this training starting tomorrow. There are a ton of clips that I need to make, and I just want to give you guys a little preview of what's coming, because all of this is building up to the big mass strike on Friday that is not only going to be in Minneapolis, although I do think it is going to be huge there. I think this is going to be a very large nationwide day of action, and I don't think many people on the right are prepared for how big it is and how organized these people are. And one of the things we keep hearing from them over and over and over again is they think they're winning, And that means they push harder. They need to get more aggressive with their tactics. They talked about that on the call tonight. So if you want to be the first to see these clips, make sure you are subscribed to my Substack. That is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Make sure you're following me on Twitter or X at Dr. Carlyn B, DrKarlyn, the letter B. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channels. I will be doing ongoing coverage of all of the anti-ICE protests in Minnesota. And, you know, this party is just getting started. So, you know,
I'm going to come back to that. We got a little bit of breaking news, apparently. They are trying to arrest Don Lemon, and federal judges, well, a federal judge refused to sign off on the warrant.
The disgraced former CNN host Don Lemon was part of the crowd that went into that church. He's suggesting that his interviews and cell phone video were part of journalism. There has been some suggestions as well that the DOJ would look at his behavior in that incident. He doesn't get a get out of jail free card because he's self-described as a journalist.
No, the freedom of the press extends to a lot of different areas. It does not extend to somebody just trespassing and being embedded with a group of rioters and being part of the group that storms inside of a church. So as our Assistant Attorney General said yesterday, we are absolutely investigating that conduct. And the fact that Mr. Lemon thought that was a good idea to do that and then to race away from it saying it was freedom of the press, well, we'll see. We'll see.
The disgraced former CNN host Don Lemon was part of the crowd that.
Yeah, we're getting reports right now that a federal judge is refusing. He has blocked the warrant on Don Lemon, so they might take it to a different judge. We'll see what other maneuvers they can use here.
Go to the, like I said, I'm Sophia. My usually they pronouns. I'm a member of Socialist Alternative in Seattle, and I go to the University of Washington here. We're so happy to have everybody here and see everybody's faces from all over the country who are ready to organize on their campuses.
I'm Earl. I use he, they pronouns. I go to Bard College in New York State.
Expansion of ICE, endless foreign interventions, like Earl was saying, into Greenland, Venezuela, Iran, the rising cost of living. These all stem from a system that prioritizes profit and power over human well-being. As wealth concentrates at the top, billionaires benefit, but everyday people pay the price. We are dedicated to overthrowing capitalism and authoritarianism completely, not just like eking out a slightly more humane existence for ourselves under these systems and replacing it with a system that meets the needs of everyday people. Socialism is when workers and students own all that they create, and we democratically run the economy, our universities, and our communities, making decisions for the needs of the many, not the profits of the few. What can we do to fight back? We certainly can't rely on Democrats. Under Biden, the Democrats did not abolish ICE. They increased its budget and carried out the most deportations ever under a president. Still more at this point in Biden's term than Trump currently has. In Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, the mayor, made headlines for telling ICE to get the fuck out, but he's also blamed protesters.
What?
But he's also blamed protesters, Mayor Frey, for being violent and provoking ICE agents after the shooting of Venezuelan immigrant Julio Cesar Sosa Celis. Tim Walz has been trying to appease Trump by calling off the protests and engaging in weak respectability politics, but that hasn't stopped the Justice Department from investigating both him and Jacob Frey. He doesn't want Trump inserting his control into Minnesota, and so Tim Walz is trying to appease and patronize the protesters, threatening to do Trump's dirty work and saying, hey, I'll call the National Guard. You don't have to do it. I'll keep my citizens in line. Thank you very much. And so he'll do it again like he did in 2020. Governor Walz is the same guy who called the National Guard on Justice for George Floyd protesters. It's not a question of whether Trump will try to send ICE or border control or Homeland Security into every American city, but when. And we have to be prepared. Until we make it impossible for ICE to operate in our cities, until we shut things down and go on the offensive, they will continue to kick their way into our schools, hospitals, and communities. That's why we need to rise up and build working people's power. We need to be organized. We need to fight alongside working class people and students. We deserve a new political system that represents the needs of the people and allows us to take power for ourselves.
Right now, unions of workers in the United States have called for mass strikes in May Day 2028 to put pressure on billionaires and fascists. But before then, we need to build as much power as possible. And
breaking news again. Apparently, William Kelly, the bearded white guy who was the big mouth guy invading the church,
lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters.
That guy has been arrested as well, getting multiple reports, and Kash Patel, FBI director, has confirmed William Kelly is now in custody. I repeat, William Kelly is now in custody. I'll let you know when I get more news on that.
Recruit as many people as possible. January 23rd represents an opportunity to show solidarity with Minneapolis and St. Paul and the Minnesota struggle, while showing us who is really organized and how many more people we need to win. The general strike in 2028 will not happen out of thin air or just because we say so. No matter how many times we see a quote-unquote general strike or economic blackout posts in our social media pages, the only way to get the scale we need for a powerful May Day strike is by taking action right now and organizing our communities. The road to May Day has already begun. Organizers in the Twin Cities have been leading the charge in building real people power. They're sparking momentum across the nation because of their courage in organizing. Sunrise Movement Twin Cities has been leading wide awakes against agents that have been working. Wide awakes are when folks find the hotels where these ICE agents are staying at and make lots of noise just to agitate them and let them know that you're not going to get sleep for terrorizing communities. You're not going to get sleep for murdering our friends and family members. We're not going to let you have it. 2 hotels in the Twin Cities have now kicked out ICE agents because of our actions. Hilton is our major target in this wide awake action, and Sunrises is now offering on-the-ground coaching for student organizers that are fired up and ready to take action in the Twin Cities. Unions in Minnesota have called for the first citywide strike in 80 years in this country. And it is our job as allies, supporters, and members of this nationwide movement to stand in solidarity.
This is actually a test of their momentum right now. This is a test of their power. Can they pull off a big strike? They're calling for a strike in Minnesota and Minneapolis, I guess, right now, but we'll see how far they go.
And follow their example. This Friday, we are asking students to organize walkouts across the country. These actions will help us jumpstart our movement to fight capitalism. When students go first, their courage breaks the fever of fear. Throughout history, students have been the key sector to turn the tide against authoritarianism across the world. When we, students, act first, the rest of civil society then follows. Students can bring the courage, the moral clarity, and action that inspires the other older generations to follow.
The last time an entire U.S. city went on strike for a day was in 1946 in Oakland, but that's about to change. It's really, really exciting. The 23rd will be the largest escalation in anti-Trump struggle since he's been elected. Our members, both in Socialist Alternative and in Sunrise, have been playing a big role in building this on the ground. It's massive because it will be the first time that the working class will strike against Trump. And only the united power of the working class can truly stop Trump, ICE, and the capitalist system responsible for terrorizing our communities. We, students and teachers, and our students and workers, need to take power for ourselves, not rely on politicians to exercise their power on behalf of us. When workers go on strike, not a dime of profit is made for the billionaire class. Schools shut down, buses don't run, and nothing gets made or sold. 17 Fortune 500 companies have their headquarters in the Twin Cities. So when workers there go on strike, those billionaires will be forced to listen to us. In order to win our demands, we need to be organized across the country. When we mobilize the united power of students in the working class, we keep our movement safe from co-optation and repression. The best way we, as student and workers, can build for this is to go back and organize walkouts, rallies, and strikes on the 23rd at all of our campuses. This struggle should be organized and fought with working class and student solidarity. We need a new working class party that can politically direct the organic energy bubbling over the surface right now. A workers' party would not just run candidates, but crucially is active and on the side of the protests and is democratically accountable to its working class and student membership. For instance, they would only take the average wage of their constituents, and they'd be subject to immediate recall. We need to bring in workers and students to call for ICE off of our campuses and out of our cities and shut down business as usual, because that's the only thing that Trump, the billionaires, millionaire university presidents, the boards they are beholden to, and corporate politicians listen to.
I'm Zeke. I go to the University of Washington in Seattle, and I'm a member of Socialist Alternative. And something that we've been thinking a lot about, because we're planning to have a walkout on Friday, is how do we get demands that really reach people? Because, this is a scary time. Last kind of late winter, spring, Socialist Alternative worked together with the teachers in Milwaukee, because there was a teacher there, Alondra Garcia, who was suspended just because of spreading information to her students who were at risk from ICE. And so we were able to fight that with a rally and a petition. And so I think that really thinking about like what are going to be the demands that that students care about and draw them into struggle, and how can we expand this struggle to the workers on our campuses, because I think
So they want to expand the struggle. These young kids, they plan on going on strike tomorrow, actually, Friday. We'll see how that all works out for them. But more people are being arrested right now for the assault on the Minneapolis church. And I want to actually just show you one quick perp walk. We do have one perp walk. Let me play one perp walk video for you guys before we get up out of here. You deserve to see the perp walk. This is a third member of, I guess, the organization. What is this woman's name here? Chantel Louisa Allen has officially been charged with conspiracy to deprive rights due to her role in the St. Paul Church riots. The ringleader, Nakima Levy Armstrong, was also arrested this morning. And here we are with the perp walk.
Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She'll stand off to the side. I know this only because I just did it once.
They had to double cuff her, bro. Those are double cuffs. That's when you're a big ass nigga. This is who we're up against. All right. Remember to bring extra handcuffs. You know what? Zip ties. Gonna have to bring a lot of zip ties. You might not have enough handcuffs to double cuff all these fat chicks you're gonna have to arrest. When you start cracking down on a revolution, bring zip ties, y'all. I'm just telling you. They don't just bring out the double cuffs for anybody. Like, they were considerate enough to bring the pink cuffs because, she's a girl. And they thought it would be nice to put the pink cuffs on a girl. But she's like more than a woman. She's like a couple of women. So she had to get an extra set of handcuffs.
Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She'll stand off to the side. I know this only because I just did it once. Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She'll stand up.
Yeah. They're going down, boys and girls. They're going down. I appreciate you guys coming out today. Do hit that like button on your way out. I will catch you guys on the next show. I got the places to go, people to see. I will be back with another one. Have a good day, y'all.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.